It's good to be a friend to your child, and parents should be friends to your children where you talk to them in the simplest form, you sit with them and have fun together, but your children are looking for leadership. The simple, if they don't have leadership, they go out to find leadership. And that's why many of us, our children have joined gangs and joined some other groups with which they were not in. They've joined themselves to some people that are leading them in a way that is not right. Because what they're looking for is, one, they're looking for leadership. The second thing is that they're looking for boundaries. Everyone needs boundaries. When you see little children crying and crying, all they're asking for is show us the boundaries so we stop the crying. And people who are simple need boundaries. If you don't give them boundaries, they will grow up to become scornful. In today's episode, I want to just share a few things with you. It's going to be divided into 3 parts because I want us to take our time to really learn this. Have you considered why some families are more blessed than others? And why some families actually do well where others fail? I'm going to use scripture and let us understand what I call the 3 personality degenerations. It's very important that every parent should know about this so that we can lead our children and get them to become wise children. So there are these 3 degenerations that we have to look at. If you're not comfortable with them, or if you're not familiar with them, you may not know where you're leading your children to. So I'm going to be doing a 3 series, and I want to start with the first one, which has to do with the simple one. Have you heard the saying before that so your mama did not raise a fool, or nobody was born a fool? But see, our community, our society is full of fools. Our society is full of fools. And just as children who are doing well were raised to become right or good or do well children, the same way foolish children can also be raised in that way. So I want us to look at these 3 stages. And the first stage I want us to look from, and I will be referring to my book, Child, Where Is My Honor? Child, Where Is My Honor? From this book, I'll be sharing a few things. But when we talk about a simple one, we're talking about one that has somebody who is just naive and open-minded, silly and very, very, has a very simple mind as to everything. Simplicity in their childish way of actions, their stages of personality, in degeneration, it's very simple for them. It is easy to see, it is very easy to deal with this stage, the simple one. Before they get to what I call the scornful and then the foolish. Because all of us want to raise wise children. But if we're not careful, we're going to be promoting our children in a place where they will remain simple. And that is not good. When your child is simple, a lot of things go wrong with them. When your child becomes scornful, a lot of things do not work well with them. And when they become foolish, it is very difficult to get them out of their foolishness. But yet, that there is still hope for even the foolish. So when we talk about the simple ones, there are people who are very simple in their ideology, their thinking. Here is a problem. The problem is that, see, most simple people or kids are children that we have not taught them something, but we expect them to do. For example, you give them a lawnmower with gas and say, go mow the lawn. They don't even know where to put the gas. So what do? They stay with it, stand there and watch you, expecting you to do everything for them. And you see, the challenge is that when we don't teach our children, when we don't instruct them, when we don't nurture them right, when we don't discipline them, they remain simple. Parents have to instruct, we have to teach our simple, say they don't become that simple. Part of their simplicity is that they easily believe in everything and anything. These are the kids that if anybody walks to them and tell them, look, you don't need no education, we're all looking for money. And because we're all looking for money, look, quit education, don't do that. Just come this way. If you sell these things, if you do this, you're going to make all the money. And they just jump onto it. Anything you tell them, anything you present to them, they just buy it. That is the simple person. So they believe in everything. They lack discernment. There are people who, when trouble is coming, they look at trouble or they welcome trouble. They welcome it because they don't know what to do with it. They have no idea what it is. So they have no discernment to tell this is right, this is wrong. They just follow and do anything they want to do. They are very gullible. They are open to everything. They are intensely curious. See, this is the people, or this group of people are the people that commercials easily take them. Anything that is sold to them, they buy it. They buy anything without reasoning, without thinking about that. They are oblivious to the future. You see, they don't have any foresight to the future. All they're looking for is now. Everything about them is now. And they postpone things. They postpone things. Every time there is something they have to do, they feel it is not necessary to do so. They have a lot of postponements in their life. They're so simple that, look, they just don't want to do anything. They are like the vulture. I always say they have the vulture mentality. The vulture is a bird that is always sitting out there. When it rains, it sits in the rain and says, tomorrow I'll build a nest. The vultures don't have nests, and they never build their nest. The next day when the rain is gone, they will enjoy themselves. And then when the rain comes again, they are in trouble. In my book, I put a few things down and I talk about the simple. And I say this, the simple are dangerously immature, extremely gullible, and intensely curious. In the absence of instruction and consistent discipline, the simple will naturally become more and more simple, and they have no understanding to anything. So certainly they are unformed in their mind. The simple, they just follow everyone and everybody. Anything you sell to them, they buy it. Anything you tell them, they take it. I remember growing up, I had a friend who man, the family was doing very, very good. And at a point, he just told me, Michael, do you know we have a house in our home? And I'd never had seen the house or heard even the sound of the house, but I just believed it. In my simplicity, I just believed it. Why? Because and that's what they do. See, people prey on the simple. If you're simple, people prey on you. And a lot of families are being preyed on because they are very simple. Not much knowledge is introduced to them. Not many things are taught to them. See, that's simple, and a lot of people grow up to become simple. You can have grown-ups and they are simple. Why? Because they have fought authority, and that's what simple people do. They fight every authority. They just want to remain that simple without just learning any information. So they fight every authority. They come against every authority. They stand against anything that makes it difficult for them, or anything that challenges their view, their perspective, anything that challenges their world view of things, they fight it. And that's what the simple does. So the simple, they are very gullible in their mind, and they, look, it's good to stop them now before they get to the place where you cannot. So what do we do with the simple? We give them information. So you give your simple. If you have a child that is very simple, all you have to do is give them information. That's why it's very important for parents, for us to intentionally be a part of our children's growth. Intentionally be there with them, talking to them, instructing them, and showing them and directing them as to the things they need to do. Because look, nobody was born a fool. But you see, fools are self-made. It's about accident, just as raising functional children are not accident. Becoming a foolish person also is not by accident. So parents, we need to instruct them. We have to give them sufficient advice, sufficient talk. Hold them together. And when they falter, we need to discipline them so they can come back. And with the discipline, it's not abusing. It's you trying to help them to come back to understand what they did. They need a lot of explanation. They're very simple in their thinking. They need a lot of explanation. And your child, if he's simple, will buy into everything. They need leadership in the home. That's very important. A lot of parents have become friends with their children. Yes, it's good to be a friend with your child. But the danger is that every child is looking for leadership. Every child is looking for leadership. That's why when two people get together, they're looking for one should lead. When two people are together, one should lead. A husband and a wife, one should lead. When two people get together, one should be the leader. So it's very important for us to understand that, look, these guys or this group of people are not just looking for friends. They're looking for leadership. It's good to be a friend to your child, and parents should be friends to your children, where you talk to them in the simplest form. You sit with them and have fun together. But your children are looking for leadership. The simple, if they don't have leadership, they go out to find leadership. And that's why many of us, our children, have joined gangs and joined some other groups with which they were not in. They've joined themselves to some people that are leading them in a way that is not right. Because what they're looking for is, one, they're looking for leadership. The second thing is that they're looking for boundaries. Everyone needs boundary. When you see little children crying and crying, all they're asking for is, show us the boundaries so we stop the crying. And people who are simple need boundaries. If you don't give them boundaries, they will grow up to become scornful. Grow up to become scornful. And that's the graduation. That's another area of life which we're going to talk about. But you don't want your children to go from simple to become as comfort. So what we want, what I want to teach you and instruct you to do is, you have to begin now. Now that your children are young, look, you have to be involved in their lives. You have to get them to understand, get boundaries for them. Begin to teach them, no, this is wrong, this is right. I hear a lot of people say, well, this is my golden child and I'm not going to be them and I'm going to touch them and I'm not going to do anything to them. Yes, look, it is not right to abuse a child, but it is right for you to guide them and to teach them and to bring them to a good place. This is what Bible says in the book of Proverbs 1 and 22. Proverbs chapter 1, verse 22. And it says, how long, you simple ones, will you love simplicity? It's talking about the simple ones. How long will the simple ones love simplicity? And then it goes on to talk about the next group of people or children. It talks about, for scornful delights in scorning. If you are simple, you will grow up to become a scornful person if you are not stopped. And then it goes on to say, and fools hate knowledge. So these three stages is what we're talking about. So I want you to understand that there is the simple form, and you have to, it's a degeneration in the lives of our children. And we cannot allow them to be that simple. We have to begin to help them. In their early stages, begin to form them. How do you form them? Give them boundaries. Teach them the no's. They get to a point where they ask a lot of whys, but you have to explain to them and let them know, no, you can't do this and you can't do that. If they need discipline, yes. If it is time out, let them go in timeout. If it is them losing a game or something they love to do, it is right to do. But don't punish them. Don't abuse your children. No, children are a gift. I said in my previous one, children are a gift. And we don't take gifts and smack them down. We don't abuse gifts. They are a gift from God to us. Yes, children are children. See, if you don't want embarrassment, you don't have to give birth to a child. That's what children do. Children embarrass their parents. And at a certain age, that's what they do till they grow out of it. And if you don't give them the information and you don't teach them and you don't instruct them and nurture them and discipline them in the right way, your children will remain simple. And their simplicity will turn them into scornfulness. And you don't want to raise a scornful child. So in our next episode, I'm going to be talking more deeply into what a scornful child is. And that is one that you don't. And if you don't take off a scornful child, then that child is going to be a fool also. My name is Michael Annancy. I'm a pastor, I'm a teacher, I'm an author, and also I'm a counselor. And in all this that I do, I have seen a lot of simple ones. And we need to pay attention to our children. Either than that, they will suffer where others are prospering. And when they have to prosper because of their simplicity, they will not be able to. And like I said, nobody wants to raise a fool. And the foolish ones are all amongst us in our society. But we don't want to raise fools. We finally want to raise a wise child. And I'm going to teach you what to do to have a child or to grow or to get your children to become wise children.